It was like coming home. At some point I realized there was a being on my right. And when I kind of tuned into that, and that's the only way I can say that is telepathically, when I tuned into it, I realized it was my grandfather who had died the year before.
It was kind of like what I think of as being in a cocoon. It was really warm, and I could see someone just on the other side of the material, or the, you know, on the outside of the cocoon, that I knew was my dad.
I sensed that someone was there, and I sensed that it was my grandfather, who had died about 8 or 9 years ago. We were pretty close, and what he was telling me was that everything's going to be all right.
Moving through something that turned out to be the shape of a tunnel, and the next thing I knew, my grandmother was there. Now, she had been dead for 14 years, and I had never once believed that anybody existed beyond their death. And my grandmother just put her arms around me like she did when I was a child and pulled me into her chest. And the next thing I knew, we were re-experiencing all 19 years we were on the planet together. She died when I was 19.
There was 2 people I was met with as I arrived at this place. One was my deceased grandmother on my mum's side, and a friend from high school called Howard Dirks from Ceylon, who died of leukemia. And I was so amazed to see these 2 people who were both passed on and died some years before. And they explained that I was in a safe place, it was a good place, and they showed me around.
On the other side, like in the tunnel, was with Mike. It was so beautiful and warm, and the light was so welcoming. And I held on to him, and he said, "You have to go out. You have things to do, and I'll be here."
I was in the light, and I saw my brother Bobby, who had died 10 days before. This is the same person, the same brother that I had come back for in my first NDE. And I asked him 2 questions. I said, "Are you okay, and are you happy?" He said, "Yes, but you have to go back. It's not your time."
I met 2 people, 2 beings, who smiled at me. And I knew them. I recognized who they were. They smiled at me, I smiled at them. I was happy to be there. They were happy to see me. I said something, a sound rolled out of my mouth. I don't know what the word was. I knew it was a word, and upon saying that word, it was like a password. It was, once I said the word, I had total knowledge. And I telepathically communicated to them, "You mean this is all I had to say?" And they smiled at me. And the response I got from them was also telepathic, and it was, the communication was, "You had to learn it for yourself. We couldn't have told you, we couldn't have taught you. This was something that had to come from you."